So yeah, we are back at home. It is about like almost 5 o'clock right now. Today is kind of like my rest day cardio. And we ended up going to grocery outlet, picking up a few things, and those few things were freaking heavy. So it got to be a little more exhausting on the way back, but it was very well needed just because, I kind of wanted something a little more than just like a flat 30-minute walk, and it ended up being, it's about like 25-ish minutes there, 25-ish minutes back. So I'd say that was good. We can actually check the steps we had from the fitness app that we're using, because I'm pretty interested to see what a walk like that kind of looks like, as opposed to just doing, something at home with the treadmill and everything. But yeah, so we're at 6,847 today. So, we're trying to hit that 10K mark, but, today also is a rest day, and this is the first official day of like an 18-day mini cut. So I'm not gonna cheat at all, but I just recently found out, because today is March 7th, that March 13th, so this coming Friday, which is going to be like a Friday the 13th kind of thing, there's apparently like a buy one get one free at Chipotle. So all you have to do is walk in, show them a tattoo, and you get a free burrito if you buy a burrito. So that's pretty freaking cool. But anyways, we are going to be getting this meditation in. This is going to be my second one of the day. I've really been liking them recently, just because it's not so much about like it is about how I do the meditation, but it's more so my updated views on what to do in the meditation. So before, I was kind of in the point of view of like associated with something that you really like. So like for me, it's like getting a pump in the gym. That's freaking awesome to me. So in the meditation, I was thinking, it's just like getting a mind pump. So, I can return my attention a lot more often. But, at the same time, like I'm more thinking of that, like returning my attention kind of thing with whatever feels good, more than the actual just returning my attention back to the mantra. So for me, recently, it is as simple as it could be. Just no matter what, I am just gently returning my attention back to the mantra. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter like if, good thoughts, bad thoughts, whatever it is, just return to the mantra. And I noticed, my thought process and cognition is just a lot clearer since then. And, just a few other things that feel beneficial on the day-to-day. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from with a lot of this. But anyways, if you do want to meditate with me, check the description down below. As always, plug that into ChatGPT. The more detailed your responses, the more individualized of a mantra it will be for you. So if that sounds cool, go for it. If not, just enjoy the good vibes. But anyways, we are going to be doing 22 minutes. The extra 2 minutes on the 20 minutes is just so I can kind of get warmed up with the meditation. That's about it. It's more of like, just kind of getting into a rhythm so that the 20 minutes are as effective as possible. But anyways, let's freaking do this. 22 minutes starting now. Yeah. Yeah, that felt super quick. That felt like freaking... I mean, I usually say 5 minutes, but I guess it's a good round number. But yeah, that was good. That was very good. My legs, or my left leg, fell asleep pretty early on there. I mean, I'm talking like first 10 minutes of the meditation kind of early, whereas usually it's, in that latter half, like 10 to 20 is where I'm starting to go numb as far as my legs. But anyways, that was, the pain's starting to set in on that left leg, all the blood rushing back. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff kind of came up. I will say it's very nice to kind of have that very simple redirecting of the mantra. I kind of had like, just all different sorts of thoughts kind of pop up, but to have such a simple instruction manual of just returning my mantra, or returning my attention back to the mantra gently. It was awesome. It was freaking awesome, because it's interesting how, like I'll get thoughts like, oh man, you should probably be focusing on this right now. You should probably be focusing on this right now. And it's almost like a debate, it's kind of like, all these different thoughts pop up, and it's like, yeah, like, like for me, it's like my business. It's like, yeah, you should probably be focusing on this in your business right now. But that's just a thought. That's just like something passing through. So, it's one of those things where it's like keeping the instructions of the meditation so simple. You can see right through those thoughts almost right away, just because, they're not pulling you everywhere. Like, you're just kind of focusing on, all right, gently return my attention back to the mantra. And that definitely helps in my case, because I've always just kind of had a tendency to get overwhelmed with things. I'll get anxious about stuff and start overthinking things, and one thing leads to another, and next thing you know, I'm rabbit holing down a spiral of thoughts. And that can, I was gonna say that could help, but I guess it only helps with, like, no, not even then. Because the things that are actually helpful, or the thoughts that are actually helpful, are what's going to help you to get you to your goals. Because once you achieve a goal, you're going to have another goal. And so, and also too, like, you find out sooner what you want. Because if you like set out a goal and then you achieve that goal and you find out like, okay, I achieved that goal, but maybe that's not for me, because you already have it, kind of thing. Or on the flip side of things, you achieve a goal and you're like, that's freaking awesome. Let's add on to that. Like, what other goals could we make that are related to that goal? So, I mean, that's why I'm a big advocate of goal setting, because you kind of, you get to find out more about yourself on the way. And you get to find out more of what you actually want out of life. So, it makes you more of an active participant in, just living life. So that is freaking it. That's my rest day meditation. I'm thinking about doing like a full day of meditating tomorrow, doing both meditations. And, my morning one is usually quite a bit different from my evening one, because the morning one, it's just kind of like acclimating to the day, still keeping my focus on the mantra, but it's much more like I'm warming up my mind for the day. Whereas this one, it's it's almost like I'm cooling down. You know, I kind of have, you know, a lot of stuff that I do in between the meditations. And so, you know, one's for getting warmed up, one's for winding down. So it kind of keeps this even cadence throughout the day. But yeah, that's pretty much freaking it. It is 5:24 right now. I am very behind on meals, but I'm not too worried about it because, as I was saying earlier, we're on this mini cut. So it's just going to be 18 days, me locking in, except for that March 13th. I think I'm going to try to count my macros on that day. I don't know. We'll have to see, because I have, you know, all my meals set. And that's another thing. I'm definitely more of an advocate of meal planning rather than counting your macros, because you know what you're going to get with, you know, the meals. Whereas, you know, macro counting, that's pretty, it works, but it's pretty vague. So there's a lot of room for error in macro counting, but it's definitely better than not counting at all and just kind of, you know, eating intuitively definitely has its perks, but I'd say you'd probably have to have a lot of groundwork leading up to that to know what really works for your body. Because eating intuitively, it can work, but it's just kind of, it can lead to a lot of different issues if you don't know how to eat properly for your body. So that's a whole other can of worms I'm not really going to get into right now, but yeah, that's pretty much freaking it. We're going to go grub. We have 4 more meals for today. But yeah, I think I'm also going to go take a shower. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I'll probably see y'all for tomorrow for the full day of meditating, because it's kind of interesting to see the difference in my demeanor going into like a morning meditation as opposed to an afternoon. It's just different, you know. It's like I don't know. It's different every day, so I can't really give you like a black and white, but just in general, I'd say the morning meditations are just a little more, I'm just trying to friggin' wake up. Like, dude, that's all I'm there for. But those evening meditations, that's where I'm just trying to chill out, you know, and, you know, just enjoy the night. That's kind of where I'm keeping it a little more regulated. But anyways, not much else to say there. I will see y'all tomorrow for that full day of meditating.